Insightful, inspiring, and fun. On this episode of Conversations with Dr. Brenda, a conversation with Liz Gutierrez. Now here's Dr. Brenda.
Welcome to Conversations with Dr. Brenda Goudeau. Thank you guys for being a part with me as I have a conversation with a beautiful young lady that I've learned to admire. So very proud of her accomplishments, and that the Lord blessed her to be a part of what God is doing with Pastor and I at Calgary Christian Center. So welcome, Liz Gutierrez. Welcome. We're glad to have you.
Thank you so much, Sister Goudeau. I'm so blessed to be here. And, I don't take it lightly that you have me speaking and having this conversation with you. I love speaking with you, and, it's an honor for me. So thank you so much.
Amen. Well, she's being real calm right here, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is watching. This is my little party here. So let's have a good time. And she's just beautiful. Her and Steve and their beautiful children are just a delight. She's just stepped in and helped us, save the young people, and helped us and stepped in. She took the girls, he took the guys, and to make sure we were able to keep their children, interested in the things of God. So it's many things. So we want to go back a little bit, Liz, and just tell us about yourself, where you're from, a little bit about, how God brought us together, and just give us some background and anything you want to share. So take your time, whatever way you want to go. Just be Liz.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So, taking it back, I'm a military brat.
Oh.
So my dad was in the Air Force. He spent 27 years in the Air Force.
Okay.
So I grew up, moving from place to place and learning how to make a lot of friends. Right. So I love meeting new people. So it was really good for me.
Okay.
I moved here to Sacramento. My dad got orders. We came from Hawaii.
Oh.
So I went to high school in Hawaii all 4 years. So I was blessed to be able to attend all 4 years in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time at the beach though, right? So,
Okay.
I love the beach, and moved here to Sacramento, and my dad had got orders here to McClellan Air Force Base.
Okay.
So we moved here, and then he retired from the military, and he moved back to New Mexico, where they're kind of from, and I stayed here in Sacramento. So I was actually rewind. I was 3 months here. So I was 17 when we left Hawaii.
So where were you actually born? I know you were.
I was born in New Mexico. I was born in Clovis, New Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah. So my parents said I was born with the cows because there's a lot of cows over in Clovis.
Moo.
Yes. So I was born in Clovis, and then we moved to the Philippines, and then we were in California, and then New Mexico, and so we moved around a little bit, and ended up in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And I loved Hawaii absolutely. I mean,
Which
I have a lot of
Which
friends.
island?
Oahu.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, in Honolulu, right? So we were at the Hickam Air Force Base, and we moved here. I was 17 when we left Hawaii, and I wanted to stay in Hawaii.
I'm like,
Dad, I want to stay. I don't want to go to Sacramento. I don't want to go. And he's like, "Well, Mija, I'm not leaving you here, so you're coming." And I'm like, "But I don't want to go."
I know. 17.
So,
I want it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want it, right? But I didn't want to disrespect my dad, right? So I have a lot of respect for my father, and so I'm gonna move to Sacramento.
Okay.
So I worked 2 jobs, 2 fast food jobs, right? I was at Burger King and Carl's Jr., and I was working both of them back to back, trying to save up some money because I knew when I turned 18, I was going back to Hawaii.
You had a plan, huh? You had a plan.
I sure did. So I was like 3 months, right? So I saved all my money, had over $3,000 saved, and flew to Hawaii. I stayed there for about a year on my own.
Oh.
And so, but then, being there on your own, and, I come from a very strict background. So, I kept telling, I called one of my girlfriends here in Sacramento, and I said, I think I need to go back and get my grounding. I need to get some morals. I need to get my morals back.
Okay.
I was losing my mind. No, I wasn't losing my mind. I was just, I was 18, right?
Right. Yes.
And so I came back home, stayed with my parents. And then shortly after they left, to go to back to New Mexico after he retired, and I stayed here.
Okay.
And so I stayed on my own. We don't have any family here, but I had already had my own place. I had established a job. I was working, and it's like, I'm just going to stay here. And so I did. And, fast forward a few years later, when I was about 25, I met Steve.
Really?
My husband, yeah.
25. Okay.
Yes. And he was 21. So
okay.
He's a little younger than I am.
Okay.
I told her, so I was the first cougar. No. Just kidding. But, so I met him, and we were dating, and, we decided we were going to get, we wanted to get, he asked me, well, actually, it was so funny. He asked my dad for my hand in marriage.
Okay.
Well, my dad didn't know that he hadn't asked me yet, or we hadn't even talked about it.
Oh.
And I was like 29. So my parents were ready for me to go get married and have kids, right? So they're like,
yeah, right. Go ahead.
Hurry up, who's gonna marry her? Please, somebody. Right. And so he actually accepted my proposal. My dad did. And so he said,
My dad
let's get married, everybody. I'm like, what? Anyhow,
Wow.
so we were just before we were going to get married, we actually went to Calgary.
Okay.
So we attended Calgary. Someone invited us. We were at a class. We're trying to get our, we're in finance. And so one of the licenses we were getting was our auto and home license. And so we were in one of the classes, and a gal there, she invited myself, Steve, and then one of our other teammates to come to Calgary. So we said, well, okay, it's Sunday night. Our class is over. We'll go to Calgary. Like, I'm Catholic, right? I was Catholic prior to coming to Calgary. And I mean, I was like kind of weird. I'm like, why are we having service at night? Right. So, I'm like, okay, if you say so. So we go, and, there was a Marilyn Hickey was there.
No.
So she was there. And I'm more of a skeptic than Steve is.
Okay.
And so as I was there, and, Marilyn Hickey was, preaching and everything. And then everyone started to get saved. I'm not saved. Everyone started to get healed. Right. Okay. And so everyone's healing. Right. And so in my seat, I'm sitting, I'm going, yeah, everybody's getting healed. Right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't everybody. I think it was like probably a half, right? I mean, like maybe 3 or 4, but when you're there and you're new and you're skeptical, right? You're like, But we did go to the altar, and and we received Lord that night, right? But we got in the car, and I remember Steve saying, I want to go to this church. And I said, I don't want to go to this church. I was like, they're weird.
Sorry, everybody. Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah.
I mean, the choir was on fire. Everybody was. It was alive. It was different, right? And so I'm like, that's a weird. That's weird. I've never been there before. Right? I'm like, I don't want to go there. And so we didn't go. Right? We didn't go back. We got married in the Catholic Church, and then we few months later, or maybe just before a year or so, Steve started going to the church. And he says, he goes, I'm going to go to the church. If you don't want to go, I'm going to go, because I said I was going to go to. I didn't go to the Catholic Church. I wasn't getting up in the morning to go to church. He's like, if you're not going to go to Catholic Church, I'm going to go to the church I want to go to. I said, okay. So he goes, and he would come back, and he was like fired up. Like, he was always excited. He was fired up. He was learning so much. And so he comes home, and I'm like, I need to go and see what they're doing. I think they're brainwashing you, right? I think something is going on over there.
Skeptical. How you the one?
I was so skeptical. So we go to the church, and pastor's preaching now. And I
Okay.
connected with Pastor.
Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
his teaching, and he was teaching on how to safeguard and protect your marriage, how to safeguard and guard your marriage, protect or something like that. But
Yeah.
that was, I mean, I was in the service and I said, this is where I want to go. This is where I need to be.
Wow. Okay.
And it changed everything. It changed the whole course of everything.
Wow.
And so that was just, you know, how we came to Calvary, right?
Wow.
How we started to come, because Steve was already here, and I, you know, I had to come check on him. So what's going on?
Wow, that is so awesome. So that second time, so when Marilyn was there, you were like, no, everybody not getting healed. Everybody not getting, what's something weird here. And then to come and hear Pastor and can have that connection, you know, because, you know, everybody doesn't connect with Pastor. Some people like, I'm out, you know, then that, you know, sometimes they end up coming back. But for you to get that, you know, that was definitely God. And for Steve, I'm so proud of my son, spiritual son, that is, that he just like, hey, if you're not going, I'm going, you know, and for that to happen. So, and then, you know, that message was a very powerful, because you might have heard the story, because he was preaching that message when I was believing for a house, how to safeguard and protect your marriage from separation and divorce. And he wasn't buying me what I wanted him to buy me. And, you know, he's about to tear up his own house while he's preaching that message. So that was a powerful message for me as well, because God dealt with him. He's preaching it and God is dealing with him. So, but that's great. So that's what kind of helped bring you in, right?
Yes. And there was so much that we had to learn, right? I mean, we, once we got here, it was like, we were just sponges.
Wow.
Like, I'm like, we need like all of this. Like, I didn't know anything, you know, growing up. I went to church as a Catholic, you know, I went to church probably until, well, I think it was probably about 6th grade. We stopped going to church.
Okay.
And so then I would find rides, like my mom and dad, they said, we're not, you know, they weren't going to church anymore, but they still believed in God, right? They still prayed. And, you know, I have a praying mother, she prays and you know, but they just weren't, you know, they didn't want to go to church anymore for whatever reason.
Wow.
And so if I was going to church, I had to find a ride, or I would walk to the church, because we lived on the base. So it was like not that far, right? I could walk to the church. And so, but then in high school, I didn't go at all. And, you know, I just kind of stopped and didn't go back to church until, you know, later in my 20s. And, you know, and then, so I really didn't know anything. I was learning everything from the teaching under you and Pastor, and it blessed my life. It, you know, so much.
Wow. And you guys are blessed. Your family is blessed, your business. Pastor and I were just talking the other Sunday or so it was, that, you know, everybody was taking notes. Your girls are attentive, and their friends, you know, she brought a friend with her, and they were all just paying attention. Just, I mean, you have not only received the Lord for yourself, but you're passing it, you know, to your family, you and Steve. I mean, we're still gawking over how he taught at the conference. It's like, Steve, where have you been? You've been holding back all this. But it was just great, because he gives a testimony of how, you know, how God did this. And when we're seeing the amazing things that you guys have accomplished. So tell us a little bit about, you know, it's just so many things, you know, how many years now has it been? I know, because that might date you, because you told us that you were 18 and then you were 17.
It was, we started coming to church in 1999.
Okay.
So we started in 99, and, you know, we had,
that's 22 years now. Wow. Yeah.
It's, we've been there for a minute. I have to always ask the girls, you know, how old am I? I don't know, how old am I? You guys, because they keep track, right? So, you know, your kids, they keep track, they keep you honest.
Right.
So I ask them how old I am. So they let me know, you know, but yeah, back in 1999, and, you know, it was, you know, part of our testimony is our walk when we started, you know, coming to church. We had, I think we were in church. We were in church, and we got pregnant. and we lost two. We had two miscarriages. And then we got pregnant again. And Pastor was teaching on restoration. He was talking about restoration, and God's going to restore you double, right? He's going to restore you. So we get pregnant a third time. And, when we went to the doctor's office to go get, your check, you go get your normal checkup. And she says, you guys are having twins. And we just lost it. Like we didn't lose it. We were laughing and just joyful. I think the whole probably floor heard us because we're not quiet, right? Neither one of us. So we were laughing. Oh my gosh, look at God. We were so excited, but let's fast forward rewind a little bit. Because of the two miscarriages, we were really concerned about this pregnancy, and we had gone up for prayer with Minister Didymus.
Okay.
And she was praying for us, and she asked us, she was, are you guys having twins? And I said, no. Are you sure you're not having twins? I said, yeah, I had already had an ultrasound just earlier that week. And I'm like, no, there's just one baby. She's like, okay. And then she kept praying, and then are you sure you're not having twins? I said, no, we're not having twins. Then we go to the doctor, and the doctor tells us we're having twins.
Wow.
And we have the ultrasound still, and it says it was February 2nd, 2000 at 2:20.
Wow.
All twos.
Wow.
All twos, right? And and then they tell us we're having twins. Right. And I believe that the Lord allowed us to experience all of that. I mean, we were so new. I mean, we'd only been at Calgary for a year.
Okay.
And so we were very new. We didn't know anybody. We really didn't know anybody. We didn't have a relationship with you and Pastor. We were just kind of showing up, right? We were there, and but we were learning. And so we go, and unfortunately, into the pregnant, about 4.5 months into the pregnancy, I started having complications, and we go into the hospital, and they said, you got to abort the pregnancy. And I said, no, we're not aborting the pregnancy. So they look at Steve, and they says, you the dad? Yes. And he says, well, moms don't normally make the right decision for themselves. So, we recommend that we abort the pregnancy. So I says to him, don't you let her take my babies.
Okay.
So he says, I'm with her. Whatever you're not taking the babies. So I got to go home with her, right?
Right.
So as she walks out the door, I ask her, I said, has there ever been, kids or babies that have been born, as ever
Survived?
She says, yeah, survived, right? And she says, well, yeah. And I said, that's all I need to hear. Thank you very much. And she just nodded her head and kind of walked out. And we just started really praying, and just what we had learned from Pastor, praying for our babies. And, they said that they weren't going to make it, but they started, and we didn't really tell anybody, because we didn't want it. We had learned enough from Pastor that you don't want negative confessions over your situation. Right. So we were very selective with who we told, because we didn't want anybody speaking anything negative over our situation at the time. So we just kind of stayed, and, we had a small group of people, and praying. And, 3 days later, as they were draining all the liquid, from the pregnant, from my stomach, the doctor says there is a miraculous turnaround in these babies.
Oh, wow.
I said, praise the Lord.
Amen. A miraculous turn. Wow.
So it was just, every step of the way. We had what was called twin transfusion syndrome. And it's where you have identical twins and they're not sharing properly.
Okay.
So then we were a candidate for surgery, and we had the surgery done. And unfortunately, because they're trying to see if they could live a little bit on their own, because, Emelina didn't have any liquid. The other baby had too much liquid. We named her Teresa. And so after the surgery on the babies, we lost one of the twins.
Okay.
But then they had said we were probably going to lose the Emelina as well, because she had a mild heart attack. She had like a stroke. And so And there's just, there's nothing we can do. We don't know. We don't have enough. There was one page of research. Mm. My brother, he's got his PhD. He does research. And so he went and researched, and he says, Liz, there's only a page. There's nothing here. So all we had was God.
Yeah.
That's all we had. Nobody could give us anything.
Yeah.
And so we just kept praying, and we would see, Emelina, Steve, he remembers praying one time. I was in the sonogram thing or whatever, and they put me in. He saw her with pigtails running around, and he says, God gave me a vision.
No,
because they were trying to tell us that she was going to be brain damaged or stillborn, and so because she had some damage, right? And so, but God delivered her.
Yes, He did.
God delivered her, and we had her on her due date. She was not a premature baby. We had her on her due date. She was healthy and a big old baby, right? So, I told God, I said, I can't handle. I don't know if I can deal with. I don't know if I can handle a preemie, right? I need a big baby.
Amen.
And so He delivered her, and we are thankful. She is doing. I mean, we always tell her, she can do something great. God has something. I mean, for every child, right? God has something great for them. And we're just thankful that God gave us our daughters as a gift. Right. And so we treasure our gift, and, we try to impart what we learn, and I am very thankful that our children, they are hungry for the Lord as well.
Amen.
And when they're in church, they're taking their own notes.
Yes. I noticed that. Yeah.
And I tell them, I say, I don't make them. Well, I tell them take their notebook, right? You take your notebook. You got to, you might hear something you need to write down, and, but I believe, monkey see, monkey do.
Okay.
Right.
You can bring the monkey into it. Huh? Okay.
Well, but if they see that, right?
Yeah,
whatever they see in front of you, they're going to do it. Right. And so, that's what they learn. And so we are very thankful. And the girls they're the best gift and the biggest joy. And, I love our children. They make being a mom very easy.
Amen. Well, you've been a great example to them. So, and Melina came, and then how many years before?
Alexis.
Yes.
Right. 5 years.
Alexis.
So 5 years later. Yeah. And we waited some time because the doctor said we were due to have twins again. They said we could have twins again. And I said, I don't want to have all these babies in diapers.
Wow. Well, you are a twin. Wow. Okay.
I know, right? I'm like, what? But Alexis was a single child, right? She was a single baby, single pregnancy, excuse me. And, she is, she's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, both of the girls are amazing, but no complications.
Right.
At all. Like nothing. She was a walk in the park, right?
Wow, right. But she's just the fulfillment of the prophecy that God was going to give you double, and give you, so she is amazing. And they're both just outstanding children. I see Melina reaching out, and both of them, Alexis too, when she's not so busy with her dance and all that, working with the youth. And, it's like they were the babies, and now they're reaching back and helping others because of you and Steve's example of serving God and jumping in there, So Pastor and I are just very blessed that you came our way. You might have been kicking and spitting a little bit.
Just took me a little bit more.
Right. But that's what we want to pray for people, because we realize, what we do is not for everybody. We would love to be able to help, but it's for who, can recognize, can see what, that connection, have that connection. And I'm so blessed that you were able to connect with Pastor, you and Steve, because for him to come, and you don't even know who that was exactly at that financial class. Do you remember?
It was Marilyn Hickey.
I know, but who was at the class and invited you to come?
It was her name was April Mack.
Okay. April Mack.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's passed away since.
Okay.
Yeah,
Amen.
but April Mack, she brought us, and yeah,
Wow.
it made a shift. There was a little shift,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Right.
when you mentioned that I have a connection with Pastor, and I really, a lot of times I feel like he's talking directly to me when he's preaching, right? I'm like, whatever he's saying, I'm like, he's talking to me, right? Or like I'll have my head down and I'm praying. I remember, at the North Campus, and he said, okay, I know I need to give a few of you a little bit more time. I'm like, he knows I need more time. I'm like, how do you know? How do you know that? I was just like, everything. It was like so many things. It was just how God just worked. Like,
Yeah.
it was incredible. And one last thing with Emelina is, and I want to share this because this is when I knew that Pastor hears from the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
I experienced it myself. And if I hadn't experienced it myself, I probably wouldn't have believed it.
Okay.
As much, right? Because I am a skeptic, right? So
Right. God knows you need a little more time.
might be some of that military background, right? But I was in the back of the church. Now again, we didn't know you in pastor. We just knew you from speaking and being the pastors of the church. And we didn't have a personal relationship with you like we do now. But we were in the back of the service, and Pastor says, and he walks in. This is when he used to walk in from the back.
Okay.
He comes in from the back, and I'm in the back, and I look at Pastor, and it was a week before I was going to give, going first, because they were going to induce my labor. And so it was a week, right? And I was in the back of the service, and I looked up at Pastor, and I just wish, in my mind, I didn't even tell Steve. In my mind, I says, I just wish that he would pray for me and the baby for next week, because we're going in for
surgery.
Not the surgery, but for delivery.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because now we're getting ready to give birth, but they were saying that she could be. Gosh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. No, it's beautiful.
That she could be brain damaged or be stillborn when we have her.
Oh, that's right. Right.
And so I'm in the back, and I'm like, I need him to pray for me and the baby. But I didn't know anybody or how to get him to pray for me. I was like, okay. I said, well, then I just stayed seated, and at the end of the service, this is why you want to wait to the end of the service. You got to get it all.
Right.
You got to get it all, right?
Right.
We were at the end of the service. Pastor stands up. He ends the service. He praises. I don't even think he prayed everyone out yet, but he ended it. It was like at the end, he goes, okay, everybody, I want all the pregnant women to come up to the altar, and I'm gonna lay hands on you. I'm gonna pray for you and the baby.
Wow.
That was it. I was like, how did he hear me?
Yeah. God hears Liz. He loves Liz, and he loves, oh my goodness.
Yes, he did. And so it was so amazing to me. It touched my heart that, God, my little prayer in my little seat, and I was just like, gosh, I just wish that he could, and I know I say wish, but we all know that I pray that, but that was what I was at, that's where I was at. I just wish that he could. And when I have not seen him, me personally, I've not seen him do that again. And I was so thankful. And then we had the baby, and she's perfect.
Healthy, perfect, smart. Oh my God. We watched her go through different stages, and even, graduate, do great things. So, wow.
Yes.
When God, that's what God wants to do. He wants us to know him and know that he hears and answers prayer, and for you guys to just be there and be there to hear, like you said, and stay toward the end, because you never know what God is going to do in some of our services. So it's just amazing. And now you guys are just working together, the team, even the girls even help you with the business, right?
Yes, they do. Yes.
Wow.
They've been a part of the business since we started, right? So we've been in business. I started when we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
The
So even
business?
before we started the business when we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. We weren't married yet. And so I kind of ran my business and he ran his business because we didn't combine it yet. As I said, my mama didn't raise no dummy, right?
Okay.
I'm not running his business. I'm gonna run my own business.
Right.
So we did, and then you got married, and we merged our businesses together. And but we've always made the girls a part of the business.
Okay.
They've been with us. They come to the office. They know the team. The team knows them. And so they're a big part. Our oldest is in the office. She's working, handling a lot of our clients, calling all of our existing clients, and keeping all of our business, straight. She's making sure everyone gets a call and it stays connected. And our youngest, she does our music for our meetings. So we do everything on Zoom.
Okay.
And so she does our music for the Zoom meetings that we have. So yeah, we have them both on payroll.
Okay. They're working it. They're working the business. That's good.
Gotta find those tax write-offs.
Yeah. Well, that is amazing. Just the testimonies just really, for the church to be 41 years old, and the people that come and the people that go, and the different things we go through in life. It's just so encouraging to just hear the different testimonies of what God has done for the people that have come and heard the word, and not only be a hearer of the word, but a doer of the word. You guys have been doers of the word, and the doers' blessings is on your life. And it's just, not only are you hiring your girls, you're bringing other people in the church, you're bringing them up. I could just see the glow on their faces that you're great business owners and making a difference in people's lives, with the different things that what you're doing. So we're just amazed at, amazed when I say it not because we're surprised that you could do it, but because it's big, it's huge, to all the people that you guys touch, and you make a difference in their lives. And so what would you like to share with our audience? Just something that would help them to be encouraged to move forth in their life, their spiritual life, or get closer to God, or in business, or marriage, a parent, whichever way. So many areas,
so much, right?
that you touch, but
I think it all entwines together.
Okay. Right.
So you show me how you do one thing, I'll show you how you do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're diligent and you work hard, God is going to bless your efforts. Right. So he blesses your efforts, is faith and works, right, together.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so I think that, us as women, we need to remember, how strong we really are.
It's good.
How much we can endure, right? What we can do, what God has placed in us, right? God wants more from us. He wants more from us, and we have to expect more from ourselves. Right? We can't just keep looking at, it's for her, or it's for them. It's not for me, right? It's for us.
That's right.
Right? God wants to do something big in our lives, and we have to set goals. We have to set goals for our family. We have to set goals for our business. We have to set goals for our marriage. We have to, read. I'm an avid reader. I wasn't always an avid reader, right? I barely squeezed through school, right? I was like, I remember having a conversation with my dad probably about a year ago, and he says, Mija, I really don't know how you graduated. I don't know what we were talking about. My dad and I, we have a very close relationship. I'm daddy's girl, and we have a very close relationship. We kid around with each other a lot. And I tell him, I says, yeah, Dad, I don't know either. I don't know. But, and I really didn't read a lot. But when I found out how much it can help you get better and become the best you, I started to learn how to read, right? I mean, not learn how to read, but because I would read a paragraph and then go to sleep. right? And I'm like, I can't focus, right? I'm like, my goodness. And today I can get through a whole book, and I'm reading like 3 or 4 books at a time. You got to get better. You got to pour more into you. That's good, so that more good can come out.
That's great.
Right? You can't expect good things to come out if you don't put good things in.
Great.
You got to change. You got to get new tools to handle the things that God, because every level you go up is a new devil.
That's right. That's right.
And so you got to get strong. You got to know who you are, and you got to expect more from yourself.
Amen. Wow. That's good. Good. That feed, whatever you feed is what's going to grow. And so when you grow yourself as a woman, you just feed, because like you said, there's so much that's expected of us, and there's so much. And I think a lot of women, Liz, get to the point, well, I have to do this, I have to do that. Everybody's pulling on me. Everybody wants a piece of me. It's like, wow, how am I, and then we want appreciation from others, but sometimes we're not going to get all that. We need to know who we are in ourselves. We need to build ourselves up and just see the benefits, the rewards of just being a woman. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, what you bring to Steve and the business. I mean, even though you had the business yourself, but together, working together, and then just being a great mom and a great example. And I'm still dealing with that monkey see, monkey do. I think I like more follow me as I follow Christ, or do no evil, speak no evil.
Meaning, well, because it's kind of like, whatever the more is caught than taught.
Right.
So that's kind of like more is caught than taught, right? So like whatever they're seeing in front of them.
That's right.
Right. So if they see this behavior,
yes,
good or bad, right? Sometimes it's so funny. Sometimes be like, I don't know why my kid's acting up.
Where are they watching it? Where are they getting from? Right?
I want to take a look at the mirror.
That's good.
It's so funny. I'll share this, and not to judge anybody, and I hope that this doesn't come over like that. And if you can edit it out if it does, right? Right, Betsy? No. Right. So, I was in the store, and I was at Costco, and this little kid, he's screaming across the aisle, and I think he was screaming to his auntie, right? It had to be someone in his family, and he was screaming, and he's like, he's screaming. And the mom says, stop screaming in the store. That is not right. You should not be screaming in the store. And she's giving him a hard time. 2 seconds later, she starts screaming to her sister. I said, wonder where he got that from.
Right. Yeah.
So the monkey see, monkey do is more is taught than taught, right? If you're doing it, they're gonna do it. That is, so you gotta watch what you're doing in front of. You're an example.
That's true. And I don't think people really realize that, and so we want to keep planting the best seeds possible, doing the right thing, because you never know who's really watching you and can make the difference in their lives by seeing somebody actually walk it out. And that's what I see in you and Steve, walking it out before your children, your staff, and all the people that are around you. You guys are amazing. And I just really, truly appreciate God sending you our way, and you giving us a second chance after that skepticism kind of, because that's what we want. When it all boils down to it, you want people that know what they want, and they know that this is what they need, and that's what, especially what we're going through now, Liz, in the society with all this, so much corruption around us, to really know God and to be able to be an example to help people. Hey, this is what we were doing before the pandemic. This is what we're going to do during the pandemic. This is what we're going to do after. We're just going to continually serve God. We're going to acknowledge him in all of our ways. He's going to continually direct our path, and his plan for us is good.
Yes.
And so we can help as many as we can help. That's what we do. That's what you guys did and have been there to help so many people. And that's how we're going to get through. And we're not going to be given to the spirit of fear, because God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And that's what I see in you and Steve. And thank you so much, Liz.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So we look forward to seeing you next time on Conversations with Dr. Brenda. Thanks again, Liz. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Sunday.
See you Sunday.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Dr. Brenda's YouTube channel to get notifications and to watch past conversations.